The screams echoed through the dense jungle before abruptly cutting off. The rescue team, led by Dr. Ethan Carter, stood frozen, their flashlights trembling in the thick darkness. Something was out there, watching them, something unnatural. It all started when a group of researchers from a prestigious scientific institute mysteriously vanished near an abandoned laboratory deep within the Amazon rainforest. The facility, built decades ago by a rogue scientist named Dr. Victor Henshaw, had been forgotten by the world after a classified experiment went horribly wrong. Now, Ethan and his team were here to uncover the truth, but they had no idea what awaited them. After hours of trekking through the unforgiving jungle, they stumbled upon the facility, half buried under layers of vines and decay. The entrance was rusted, but still intact. A faded biohazard sign flickered as Ethan pushed the door open. The air inside was heavy, thick with the scent of chemicals and something rotten. "Stay close," Ethan whispered, gripping his flashlight tightly. Inside, the walls were lined with shattered glass containers and rusting metal cabinets. Research papers, some burned and others blood-stained, were scattered across the floor. The deeper they ventured, the more they realized something terrible had happened here. Then, they found the first body, a scientist in a torn lab coat, his face frozen in an expression of pure terror. Deep claw marks ran across his chest, and his throat had been ripped open. "Oh my God, what did this?" whispered Mia, the team's biologist. They found old tapes in a secured office, recorded by Dr. Henshaw himself. The last log sent chills down their spines. The experiment was a success, but also a failure. The DNA mutation exceeded our control. The subject is no longer human. It is evolving. Hunting. We tried to contain it, but it has escaped into the lower levels. If anyone finds this, run. Seal this place forever. A loud crash interrupted them. Something moved in the darkness beyond the lab corridors. A shadow stretched unnaturally long against the dim light. Then, glowing, inhuman eyes stared at them from the far end of the hallway. A low, guttural growl filled the silence. "Run!" Ethan shouted. The creature lunged. Chaos erupted. The team scattered, desperately trying to escape. The beast, a horrifying fusion of man and monster, was fast, its elongated limbs stretching grotesquely as it crawled through the narrow corridors with unnatural speed. One by one, it picked them off. Blood splattered against the walls. Screams echoed, then vanished into the abyss. Ethan and Mia sprinted towards the control room, where an emergency lockdown system still functioned. They had one chance, to trap the creature inside and seal the lab forever. As they activated the security system, the doors began to close. The monster roared, charging toward them. At the last second, Ethan slammed the emergency lever, locking the beast inside. Panting, they turned to leave, only to find another horrifying discovery. Mia gasped. In the flickering light, she saw old research files that revealed the ultimate truth. The creature was Dr. Henshaw. His own experiment had transformed him into the abomination lurking in the darkness for decades, feeding on anyone who dared to enter. Ethan shuddered. "We have to go, now." As they fled the collapsing facility, Mia whispered, "But what if there are more like him?" The jungle was silent, but in the distance, deep beneath the ruins of the lab, something else moved. Days later, as the news reported the destruction of the forgotten lab, an old, weathered figure stood watching from the edge of the jungle. His eyes gleamed in the moonlight, glowing just like the creature's. Then, he disappeared into the darkness. The mutation was spreading.